introduce ourselves. Elder Collins is driving today. He's from San Antonio, Texas. I'm Elder Kuhn from Payson, Utah. This is Max and King. They're from Nauvoo. They're full-time missionaries. They're Belgian geldings. They weigh about close to 2,000 pounds each. The dam was built down in Keokuk in 1913, about 12 miles down the river. What it is, it backed the river up here and raised it about 18 to 20 feet from what it was when the saints were here. And the river channel runs down here below the trees. You can't really see it from here. But there's buoys that mark the Illinois side and the Iowa side of the river channel. And the river boats that come up and down here have to stay between those buoys or they're going to run aground. And that's kind of like in our life. We have guidelines that we have to stay between. And if we stay between those guidelines, it'll keep us from running aground and having to we made it again. We didn't lose anybody. Well, when you speak of Nauvoo, you think of the temple. And the fact that they built the temple here with all the sacrifices they went through, they still wanted to have a temple. People would say, why are you working so hard, putting all your time and resources into that temple? You know you're going to be leaving. They said, well, the mobs can take away our freedom, they can take away our property, they can even take away our lives. But if we have the blessings that we can receive in the temple, they can't take that away from us. And so that sustains us as we travel across, and if maybe we lose loved ones, we know that the temple will tie us together again. Well, the temple was 2 years after they left, someone broke into the temple and set fire to the inside of it. And then in 1850, what they think was a tornado came through and destroyed all but the west wall of the temple. But we're glad to see that there's a temple here today again. We know that
with cicada rather than the unknown hand.
Here's Sarah the cicada. Look at how big that sucker is.
I understand now why they make so much noise.
Run by the young performing missionaries and the senior missionaries. It's fun. The kids have a good time here. It's really a fun time. To the right, of course, is the visitor center. And since I got tickets from you all, you've probably all been there. At the visitor center, you'll pick up tickets for the ox cart ride, the wagon. William Weeks drew the plans, and he was the architect of the temple. Of course, once the temple was built, he had a good view of the temple. And he was the architect for several other buildings in Nauvoo, too. I'll try to remember to point them out to you as we go by them. One of the groves, it was called the West Grove. It was west of the temple bluff. There was also a South Grove and an East Grove. And we've kind of restored this. We put pathways through it. There are benches that you can sit on in the grove. And there are reader boards along the pathway that have entries from people's journals and diaries from the early saints. There are also benches you can sit on, and if you look in the back, toward the back of the grove over there on the south side of it, you can see that there's a podium and there's some benches set up so that if you had a group of people and you wanted a place to meet, where you could plan your day or where you could plan your reunion, whatever you were doing, if you just go to the visitor center and tell them that you'd like to reserve a portion of the grove, they'll reserve it for you so that you can make things work if they didn't look like they belonged there. This brick building that we're coming up to here was Joseph's Red Brick Store. It was torn down in 1890 and then it was rebuilt again in 1980. Joseph had a mercantile store on the first floor, and on the second floor he translated the Book of Abraham, he wrote the Articles of Faith, he wrote the history of the church.